Hello, Dr. Carter. Uh, First, can you introduce yourself to our audience, to our readers?
Hi, I'm Dr. Kenrith. I'm a veterinarian. I work in the island of Grenada in the Caribbean. I do wildlife medicine as well as regular dog and cat stuff. I'm also a sea turtle veterinarian with the local NGO.
Nice. Why did you decide to become a vet?
I was born to be a vet. I mean, it's kind of the textbook answer, but ever since I was a kid, I was always involved with animals. I was always the one like taking snakes out the trees, have the neighbor's dog. And as I got a bit older and I found out about the career of veterinary medicine, I thought it was something that would work out for me. I also looked at people like Steve Irwin and all of the Animal Planet back in the days. So I was always the wildlife guy, and then I put everything together to join into my veterinary career.
That sounds interesting. And where did you study?
So I got my basic veterinary degree from St. George's University in Grenada. I did clinicals at University College Dublin in Ireland, and I did additional studies in exotic animals in Brno University in the Czech Republic. So a bit over there.
Nice, you've been all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have your own practice in Grenada. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, so I run, it's the 7th year going. I run a mobile veterinary practice where we basically do everything surgical, medical. We do dog, cat stuff, a lot of exotics, parrots, monkeys. We do snake rehabilitation and relocation. We also do, we have diagnostics like ultrasound, different blood tests. It's pretty good. A bit of everything, medical, surgical, plus we do routine like vaccination and those things. Even nail clipping, that can be a bit difficult, but yeah.
Yeah. So how is it like to run a practice and at the same time to treat animals?
Well, the whole Caribbean life, it can be difficult at times, but we make it work. I mean, at the end of the day, you're making those decisions. You would want to do the best for the animal. You would also want to do the best for your client. There's some stuff, for instance, one medication might cost a lot more than another one, but that would be the ideal, and not everybody could afford the care that the animal needs. So sometimes it's a bit, you can get on the touchy side. So as a business owner, you have to make the right business decisions. As a veterinarian, someone who really care for animals, sometimes you try to give some leeway where sometimes you could facilitate a client's need who may not be able to afford it. But we always try to practice best medicine, and we always do what's best for the patient, and then secondly, what's best for the client.
Yeah, okay. Then you've been volunteering as the sea turtle veterinarian for the local NGO Ocean Spirits. Can you share a bit about that experience?
So I've been involved with them for a long time now, but then I became officially the sea turtle vet. I'm also one of the island coordinator for WIDECAST, which would be the Wider Caribbean Sea Turtle Network. So Ocean Spirits is a full-time NGO on the island. They've been existing for 20 years, and they do research with mostly leatherback turtle. We have the third largest leatherback nesting site in the region. And they would have volunteers coming, of course, before COVID. COVID sort of set everything back a little bit. But yeah, I have been doing work with them. Normally it would be just an injured turtle call out, blood sampling, stuff like that, rehabilitation, rescue. Some turtle would be stranded places. I've also done, together with Ocean Spirits, Grenada's first sea turtle surgery. That would be a couple of years ago. I had to do an amputation on an entangled green juvenile turtle. Also did the full rehabilitation and release. We also do other things like satellite tagging. One day we had to put a satellite on a leatherback turtle. It's not the easiest thing. As well as we do in-water surveys and studies. So they go on and do blood sampling off the boat on some of the neighboring islands where Hawksbill, which is critically endangered, are nesting. So for instance, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be out there on an uninhabited island where in the peak of the Hawksbill nesting season, taking samples, doing nesting surveys, and all those sorts of things. So we do some flipper tagging, egg counting, patrolling the beach to keep away poachers. We do those things too, but also do the additional veterinary stuff with them.
Yeah, that sounds amazing what you do. What about your YouTube channel? You have your own YouTube channel. Can you tell us more about that project?
Well, the YouTube channel is a young project, and are we trying to bring one of the idea was a lot of people, for instance, in the Caribbean, they don't really know what veterinarians do. And they really think you just maybe go to one person and give a dog a vaccine and that's it. And I do so much more than that. So I wanted to use the YouTube channel as an avenue to get it out there. In recent times, I haven't put up a lot of videos because my editing program is giving a bit of trouble. But I'm going to try to put more content there because a lot of the things I do is some people be interested in it. And just to get that out there that one, you can do that too as a young person aspiring to be a veterinarian. Suppose they could stay home in the Caribbean and they could still get that experience that they would not get in like in the US or in Europe or somewhere. Or you could get the same experience that they would get out there and do even more. So hopefully it's something to inspire some people to become veterinarians and have a little bit more confidence in their career, as well as it gets to show people as this is what a veterinarian can do and this is what he's doing. So in case they need something done, they can get it done as well. Or they know, like, oh yeah, if an animal is sick, a turtle land on the beach, you could call Dr. Carter, or if there's an injured bird or seabird or something, they could message that person. We saw him on YouTube, That's the idea behind the channel. I also try to put some of my research stuff inside the day. And a bit of the fun stuff too, living on an island, because you're a vet on an island. Sometimes we go spear fishing, we go camping, we do some other things that people could see. We're not just only walk. You do have a life as well,
Yeah, that's a great idea behind the project. I hope you put up more videos because we surely love the ones you have so far.
Thank you.
Yeah, so would you care to share the most memorable vet case you had?
Let me think. Well, there was a few. There's one, I think in the year 2017. It has to be 7, after Hurricane Irma. So I did like a relief mission to the BVI facilitated by the Fortune Group. They have like Richard Branson has his own private island where he was doing stuff in conservation work with lots of lemurs and other animals. So I got flown out there. Well, it was an interesting trip. I took like a super yacht to one country, a small plane to another country, a helicopter. It was crazy. But we got out there and there were a few injuries from the hurricane. And there was this one black and white rough lemur. I call her Stumpy, of course. A tree fell on one of her limbs, her front limb or arm. And it was really bad. So I remember getting off the helicopter, took a speedboat, get onto this island. And I went in the room and they're like, oh, this one. I'm like, oh, we need to do this surgery right now. So literally, I was just there. I remember doing it because I anesthetized. I did the surgery right there. I had to take off the limb. Got the animal woken up again. And after everything was settled, I was like, oh, where am I going to stay? I didn't even bother where I'm living. I just dropped my bag, went and do it. And the whole time of treating this animal over a few days was really good because how well she responded to anesthesia. And I was just like, took the medicine to a point she would wake up exactly when I wanted to, got her back feeding. And it was a nice case. It was one of the memorable ones.
Yeah, it sure is. Yes, so do you have any advice for future veterinarians or for even for your colleagues?
I think right now it's some places it's very high stress to be a veterinarian. And a lot of people lack confidence. From my experience with veterinarians, a lot of them lack confidence. And sometimes just trust in your decision-making process, Go through it. You've done the groundwork, you've done the schooling, so you got the experience. Be confident, And don't be afraid to try new things. And especially new products. A lot of vets get stuck into one thing, myself included. You might like this product, it works perfect. And then you see another veterinarian comes with another product or another technique. Never be afraid to learn new things. And I always tell my students as well as my friends, learn as much as you can from whoever you can, because the janitor will teach you something that the head vet cannot, So learn as much as you can from whoever you can, and don't be afraid to have a little bit of fun and always take some breaks, because don't work too much, you're gonna get crazy. So take breaks. Try new things, and make sure you're still having fun, because some days you have to sit down and remind yourself why you're doing this and why you're in this, And those days, you need to have a few fun memories there.
Yeah, nicely said. Do you have anything else to add?
So I went out there, I did 3 months with Cheetah Conservation Fund in Africa. It's an NGO there. They're trying to battle the illegal wildlife trade. So they end up with a lot of cheetah cub trying to be smuggled from basically the Somali region to the Emirates.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been confiscating, and I've done some work with there. I did learn a lot. It was a nice experience. I mean, there's ups and downs. You're living in a different country with a different culture. I've done that before in my life a few times, but this one was a bit strong. And then coming off of COVID, it was like the first travel since the COVID outbreak. So it was weird for the whole traveling thing. But with the animals themselves, it was interesting to see and cheetahs actually are more risk of getting the diseases from humans. So we could actually give them COVID, for instance. And a lot of the cheetah there in captivity, they were battling with feline calicivirus and feline coronavirus. So it was GI problems, coughing problems. And it was interesting just to be part, because on my side of the world, when I do conservation, we have like maybe over harvest, some habitat loss, overfishing would be the main problems around here. With like the seaboards, people been poaching them. We have poaching as well. The turtles, people poaching them. But over there, the big problem would be human-wildlife conflict, where people are poisoning predators because they kill like a goat. And then there would be the whole illegal wildlife trade, where they're killing the parents to take the cubs to sell it to another country because they're so poverty-stricken that that's the only income they can see. So it was an interesting experience. It was hard work though, and there was some emotional times. There was some that didn't make it. There was one I had to euthanize because it was in a really bad way. And so, but it was interesting. So that one, like, I would probably put some of the cases on the channel soon when I get some time to put it together. But yeah, it was definitely, it's not a life-changing moment, but it got me grounded to remember why I'm still doing this and give me the fuel to keep going,
Yeah, that's always good to remember. And we always try to remind our audience and our readers to remember why they started, because sometimes it can get hard.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much. I'm really glad we had this talk.